What's going on, y'all? It's Waiver Wire Queen. Today we are going to talk about some of the best tight ends in fantasy football. We are going to re-rank our top 10 tight ends in fantasy football, guys. There are some tight ends that are obviously at the top. You have your top three pretty much, and then you have everyone else. Some people feel like if you can't get the top five, then you're going to lose week to week based on your tight end position. No, there are some solid tight ends that can help you week to week in fantasy football. And today we are going to talk about those guys. Let's get it.
Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast with Waiver Wire Queen.
That's right. Shout out to Tony Anthems for the great beat. And let's get it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football, or if you're interested in learning how to play fantasy football. We have a lot of great content that's going to help you prepare for the upcoming season, because the ultimate goal is to win your league. And that's what we're trying to do in 2022, is win every league that we're in. That is the goal. All right. So yes, the tight end position, some people say it isn't deep. It simply isn't. You have your top guys and then you have everyone else. And if you don't get one of those top guys, most people feel like week to week you'll lose that individual competition at the tight end position. Doesn't necessarily mean that you won't win your week or you won't win your league, because there are still some tight ends that can help you. And it's not going to require you to draft them early. If you're in a 2 tight end league, you already know that you have to prioritize the tight end position. And if you want one of those top 5 premium tight ends, you're going to have to draft them much earlier. But if it's a 1 tight end league, you simply shouldn't have to rush and reach for a tight end. Although some people still draft their tight ends early. In a 1 tight end league, I still see Travis Kelce going fairly early. And, that's that individual's preference. However, while they're taking that tight end early, you can load up on other positions and then draft one of these guys, maybe from the 6 to 10 range, and still have a successful season and possibly beat that person. And we're going to talk about it today. So at the end of the 2021 season, Mark Andrews was obviously the top tight end in fantasy football. Statistically, it was his best. He was brilliant. He was amazing. We all know Lamar Jackson, that is his number one target. It's his favorite target. However, I have ranked number 1, Travis Kelce. I have Kelce as my number 1 guy. He's always my number 1 guy. He does not disappoint. He is simply amazing. And you have to understand what's going on right now. We all know they traded Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins. That is important to factor into this as well. And then when you look at the roster, I'm not confident in anyone else on that roster catching the football that isn't Travis Kelce. It's going to be a lot of Travis Kelce, especially early on, because Mahomes is obviously comfortable with Kelce, and he's going to have to get comfortable with some of these other wide receivers. They added Juju. They added MVS. They added Sky Moore via the draft. And, Hardman is still there. However, Hardman has underwhelmed. Last year was supposed to be his season. It wasn't. Let's see what he can do this year. However, it's going to be a lot of Travis Kelce, like I said, because he is the best target for Mahomes. Now, it doesn't mean these other guys aren't going to have a good year. However, it's going to be Travis Kelce. Okay. He was ranked number 1 at the tight end position in the last 5 out of 6 years. Okay. And again, you factor in the trade of Tyreek Hill and the wide receiver group that they have, fairly some young guys and then some veterans, but it's not Tyreek Hill. Okay. And you got to also understand, statistically, Travis Kelce went over 1,000 yards 6 straight seasons. That is simply amazing. I expect him to do the same thing. Again, I'm not confident in the other guys. They may have solid seasons, but Travis Kelce is going to eat in this upcoming season in fantasy. So I'll tell you that in most of the leagues that I've drafted in so far, especially in my startup dynasty leagues, he has gone early. And we like to do a lot of the 2 tight end leagues, and he's going very early in those 2 tight end leagues. I watched someone draft Kelce at the end of the first round. I even watched someone draft Kyle Pitts in the first round because it's a 2 tight end league. So whatever your preference is, that is on you. But again, he is the number 1 tight end. Coming in at number 2, Mark Andrews with the Baltimore Ravens. He had a hell of a season last year. I'm sorry. This was amazing to watch. We know that it doesn't matter if Hollywood was staying or, he was traded to the Cardinals. However, we all knew that Lamar Jackson has this great connection with Mark Andrews, which makes him his number 1 target, his favorite target. Simply put, that is all you can say about that. He's his favorite target. He was the number 1 tight end in all of fantasy last season, had his best career this past season, first season with 1,000 yards. May see that again this season because they traded away Hollywood Brown and they didn't address the wide receiver position. They're going with who they have. They did draft Bateman last year, so you should see him take the next step. But Andrews should have another 1,000-yard season. He had 1361. That is impressive, especially for someone who hadn't had a 1,000-yard season prior to the 2021 season. Amazing. And again, you can't go wrong with drafting him as the first tight end off the board if you feel that he is your guy, because you already know that Lamar Jackson is going to be looking for him an awful lot because they didn't address the wide receiver position. So if you draft Mark Andrews, just know that you have a really good tight end, especially if you are looking at him in a 2 tight end league. And again, I can't stress the fact that he is Lamar Jackson's favorite target. Coming in at number 3, and in the next 3 years, he may be the first ranked tight end, Kyle Pitts. That's right. Think about it. Okay. 1 season, 1 year in the NFL, and he is already in the top 5. Some people had him in the top 5 as a rookie. We all know Waller didn't have that season that we expected, so he fell out and Kyle Pitts slid right in there. Kyle Pitts was simply amazing this past season. He had some games where, him and Ryan didn't really connect well for the Falcons. However, when it was all said and done, he had a great rookie season. Okay, it was impressive. The most receiving yards since Jeremy Shockey for my New York Giants. He had 1,026 yards as a rookie. Very impressive. Very impressive. And some didn't expect him to hit 1,000 yards, but he did. And he is a high impact tight end. He is one of these guys. He is one of the elite tight ends after 1 season. He had an elite season as a rookie. And so you'll start seeing some of these rankings change in the next few years because Kyle Pitts is obviously much younger and he's just going to keep going up. He's going to keep going up and end up being the number 1 ranked tight end. I'm happy I have him in 2 of my dynasty leagues, and it is a 2 tight end league, which really makes me feel comfortable about my tight end position, having someone like Kyle Pitts. Think about it. Calvin Ridley, think about it. Calvin Ridley is out for the season. Drake London is a rookie. Who else do they have? They traded for Edwards. I mean, we don't know what to expect at the wide receiver position. I think Drake London is going to play very well. However, he's a rookie, so there may be some growing pains. And then you also got to factor in they do have 2 new quarterbacks in the building, but at the end of the day, Kyle Pitts is going to eat. If nothing else, he's going to be a security blanket for Mariota and Desmond Ridder, because I do anticipate Desmond Ridder getting in there on the field and playing very, very well. Let's talk about number 4, one of the best tight ends in the game today, Kittle. That's right, y'all. George Kittle with the 49ers. He's just amazing. You know, he'll miss some time during a season, and still, when you look at his stats, the statistics are impressive. He is great. He was the 4th ranked tight end this season, and he's 4th on my list. Simply impressive. Okay, he had another good year. 910 receiving yards, and he had a career high in touchdowns with 6. I was shocked about that stat because they always seem to get him the ball. But this was a high for him at the touchdown with touchdowns, which again is amazing. I expect him to do more this upcoming season and continue to produce. He produces every year when he is on the field, and so he is definitely one of the elite tight ends. He can have a game that will win a week against your opponent. That's what the top 5 tight ends are capable of doing, winning a week. They are the difference makers. Coming in at number 5, I still have him in my top 5. I expect him to have a nice bounce back year. Darren Waller with the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, I'm going to need him to step up. He may not perform statistically at the level he normally does because you have Devontae Adams in the building. You have to account for that right there. I'm sorry, you're going to have to account for it, but I still feel like he's going to be good because now it's not just the defense focusing all on Darren Waller. Now you have to account for Adams, and obviously we know Hunter Renfrow had a very good season and he got the contract, so he's obviously going to be there. They have a nice group for McDaniels to work with, and I expect Waller to have a bounce back year. The previous 2 seasons, he was in the top 5. 2021 was obviously an injury-plagued season, but it still doesn't mean he's not a top 5 but it still doesn't mean he is not a top 5 tight end, because he still is, and he has the capability to produce at a high rate. And when you start adding more weapons, it may make everyone think like, oh, he's going to lose targets, but it's going to take some of that focus from the defense off of him, and he may get more opportunities. So it's not a bad thing that Adams is in the building. To me, I think it's going to help overall. Okay. And again, this past season wasn't great because of the injuries, but we all know that he is capable of performing, and he should. He's going to have a bounce back year. So if you are considering drafting him, draft him with confidence and don't even worry about 2021. It was the injuries, guys. Okay. You see, Hunter Renfrow had a career season. So don't expect Darren Waller to come out here and have a 2021 type season. He's going to have more of a 2020 type season and produce. So draft him with confidence, especially if you are in a 2 tight end league. Don't sleep on what he's going to do this year because they added Adams and he didn't perform well in 2021. Coming in at number 6, Dalton Schultz with the Cowboys. I was sleeping on Dalton Schultz in 2020. 2021, I had him as one of the top 10 tight ends. I expected him to play very well for the Cowboys. However, I didn't anticipate the season that he would have. A career year, obviously. 2020 was a very good season for him, but I still thought that Jarwin would sort of be in the mix, but you know, he just can't stay healthy. They have moved on from Jarwin. Schultz is the guy. They better give him his money or he's going to not be their guy. He's going to be somewhere else. But again, Schultz has improved the last 2 seasons statistically. A little over 6, 2020, 808 yards in 2021 and 8 touchdowns. Simply impressive. He was the 3rd ranked tight end in 2021 in fantasy football. And guess what? You got to think that he's going to perform like this still because Amari Cooper was traded. Gallup is recovering from a knee injury, which required surgery. And you got to understand that who else are they going to give the ball to outside of my favorite, CeeDee Lamb? They have the rookie Tolbert, but I expect until Gallup is healthy, it's going to be a lot of CD Lamb and Dalton Schultz, which means more targets for him early on until we know what's going to happen with Gallup, and also until we know that we can trust Tolbert. We have to wait and see with the rookie. We just don't want to crown the rookie as, oh, he's about to come out here and have 1,000+ yards. We're going to wait and see. He's going to be good. However, he's not going to out target Dalton Schultz. So if you were to draft Dalton Schultz over Darren Waller, I wouldn't be mad at you, because I expect him, based on his situation and that offense of the Cowboys, I expect it to be very good statistically for him. I expect him to play very well, and he may have a similar season to 2021, or he may be slightly better, because you have to, again, understand that we don't know when Gallup is going to get back on the field. So, in my opinion, like I said, he's going to be the number 2 target until at least we know what's going on with Gallup. So, draft him with confidence is what I'm saying to you guys. If he hits 1,000 yards, I would not be surprised. So don't sleep on him and draft him with confidence. Coming in at number 7, one of my favorites. The Eagles jumped the Cowboys to draft Dallas Goedert, and that's why he is number 7. No, he simply is a solid tight end. However, to me, Hurts at times has just been terrible with his accuracy. You would think that Goddard would be a security blanket at times, but we'll see what happens. Goddard had his best season statistically still, even though Hurts had some of those moments where it was like, oh no, he still performed. The main thing with Dallas Goedert is health. Health is wealth. Availability is one of the most important things. No, it is the most important thing. If you ain't on my field, how can I trust you? How can I rely on you? That doesn't mean he's not in the top 10, because he should be in the top 10, because he's very talented. And when on the field, he is going to produce. There are going to be those weeks where Hurts is going to just have to get the ball to Goddard, because he's not going to be able to get the ball to Brown at times, and maybe not even to Devontae Smith. So he's going to have to trust and rely on Dallas Goedert. And there is nothing wrong with it, because he is a very talented tight end. However, it's just the injuries, okay? But also factor in, he may see a slight decrease in targets with the addition of A.J. Brown. But is he still a top 10 tight end? Yes, okay? Draft him with confidence. Statistically, you see what he did in 2021, and it's going to be more of that. So be confident in your selection of Dallas Goedert. I drafted him in one of my 2 tight end leagues, and people are obviously trying to get him in a trade, but I was confident that he's going to have a good season, and I'm happy with my selection. So he's going to stay on the waiver wire Queen's team. They're going to have to go somewhere else, okay? Y'all know what it is. You know how those trades be. For real. Coming in at number 8, former Eagles tight end, Zach Ertz. Never thought I would have him on this list, but again, with Zach Ertz, he was very, very good for the Cardinals. I mean, most people thought once he was traded from the Eagles, the career was going to be over. But no, he pretty much let us know that it ain't over at all. It's not over at all. And he is very, very good still. He has a lot left. Played very well for the Cardinals the last 2 seasons. He played every game, which is a shocker. No one expected him to appear in every game in 2021. Most people always expect him to miss time. He played very well. And the most important thing I will say about what Zach Ertz is going to mean to the Cardinals this season is the fact that Hopkins is going to be suspended and miss the first 6 games of the season. So that is important, because where are those targets going to go? And you know, Christian Kirk has left the building for that big contract with Jacksonville. Obviously, they have Hollywood, but it's going to be a lot of Zach Ertz early on, and he should have a good season, barring any injuries. Should play extremely well for the Cardinals and have another season similar to the 2021 season. So if you're going to draft him, you don't draft him early. By no means do you draft him early, but you do make sure that you prioritize him because he is very, very good still, and he has shown us that he is still capable of producing, and that's simply all we're looking for in our tight ends if you're capable of producing. I'll say one of the reasons why I love the tight end position is because in most of the leagues that I'm in, we do add a little extra incentive for the tight ends. We give an extra, it's either an extra half point or 0.75 per reception for the tight end position, which helps. And so it alleviates the stress of having to go and draft some of those top tier guys. And it really makes you focus on all of the tight ends, not just the top 5 guys. You can win and produce weekly with a Dallas Goedert or a Zach Ertz because they are producing for their teams. And then when you add that extra little incentive, it helps. It simply does. Obviously, the top 5 is the top 5, and not everyone is going to get the top 5. There are some people who will try and snatch the top 2 tight ends, and then what do you do there? That's not enough to go around, but adding that little extra incentive has helped, and with Zach Ertz, great season. Continue to produce, okay? He is still playing. Coming in at number 9, TJ Hawkinson. I'm telling you guys, I don't know about y'all, but I had him having a really good season in 2021, and it was simply more of an underwhelming, underachieving tight end in 2021. It wasn't impressive at all. He only appeared in 12 games, dealt with a lot of injuries, just wasn't great and wasn't what we expected. The question is, can he be elite? He's not going to be in my top 5 or my top 8 because he simply has been inconsistent and hasn't been able to be consistent and produce the type of seasons that he should be producing, especially when the Lions didn't have anyone early on for them to catch the football. So that was very surprising to me. Now, I have him in my top 10 because he still has the talent and I'm still hopeful, but if he produces another season like 2021, he's going to be out in my top 10, okay? Statistically, y'all see what he did statistically. It just simply wasn't great at all. And again, I understand the injuries, but at the same time, you can't produce those stats and expect to be ranked as such. You're going to be ranked accordingly. And again, I'm doing this based on potential. That is why he is in my top. Okay, only 583 yards in 2021. That's less than what I expected and less than what he produced in 2020. So again, can he be elite? And I'm not saying elite with the top 5 because he's not going to be in that group, but can he be elite in the tier that he is in and produce? He has the talent to do so, but can he truly do it? And then you also have to factor in they added some other weapons. They added, obviously, Armand in the draft last season, and they went ahead and signed DJ Chark. Not really high on Chark. They have Josh Reynolds, not high on him. They added Jameson Williams, the wide receiver, who is very talented. I'm very high on him. So they're adding weapons, which may take some targets away from Hawkinson, which is a concern. However, I still think he can at least produce 500 to 600 receiving yards. But some of those targets are going to go to some of those other wide receivers they added to the team. But again, can he be elite in the tier that he is in? That is the main question. Can you be one of those guys in that tier? Should be, but he hasn't been. But we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and give him another opportunity to prove that he is a top 10 tight end in fantasy. And, having Jared Goff as a quarterback is that ain't helping as much. But again, we're going to give him another chance and see what he can do. Coming in at number 10, I went back and forth with number 10. I wanted to go with the young, talented tight end for the Steelers, Pat Freiermuth. However, I'm going to settle with Mike Gesicki. I know, yes, they added Tyreek Hill, so that's going to take away some of those targets. I think the Miami's offense, passing wise, is going to be better than the rushing game, because they got like 8,000 running backs. Stay away from them running backs. I do feel like Gesicki is still going to produce. Again, he may not have the career year like he did. He had a career highs in catches and yards. He had 20 more catches in 2021 than he did in 2020, which is showing that he's improving. Every year you look, he has improved. That is all you ask for in a player in fantasy, especially in the dynasty league. In a dynasty league, I'm looking to see who's improving and who's not. If you are declining, I am getting you off my team. If you are improving every year, I'm going to make sure that I keep you on my team, or I'm going to try to get you on my team. Now, with Gesicki, maybe this is his last year with Miami. We don't know, but say he has a so-so solid season this year and then he goes somewhere else, I think he'll be good. So if you draft him, draft him. I prefer him right now over Hockenson, because at least I know that he has shown more consistency than Hockenson. So again, Mike Gesicki had a good season. He's going to lose some of those targets to Tyreek Hill, of course, but he's still going to be very, very good, because Tua going to have those moments where he ain't going to get the ball down the field and he's going to have to get the ball to Mike Gesicki. Okay. Y'all know it's just going to happen. And when it happens, we're going to be pleased with that production, because he simply hasn't shown us that he can be accurate. So if he can't be accurate down the field with the deep ball, they're going to do a lot of those short passes, which is going to work in favor of Gesicki and Tyreek Hill, who wants the short passes, which, we've heard him say what he said, and he said Tua is accurate as hell. So I'm going to stand on what Tyreek Hill said, and Tua accurate, so that means Gesicki going to be good this season, y'all. How about that? And statistically, you see what he did. He had a very good season, and he's shown us a large sample size of what he can do. And so I'm saying that he's going to be in the top 10. I feel like this is what will change. It may change closer to the season, because I'll do another top 10 tight end ranking right before the season starts. You may see Pat Freiermuth slide into my top 10, because I feel like he's going to be a security blanket like no other for those quarterbacks for the Steelers. Mitch and Kenny, because I'm on a first name basis with these guys. As y'all can see, they're going to use Pat a lot. And what I really loved about Pat last season as a rookie, got a lot of action in the red zone and had a really good amount of touchdowns as a rookie. So I expect to be re-ranking, and you may expect Pat Freiermuth in my top 10. If I am looking for young tight ends in fantasy, specifically in a dynasty league, he is one of the top ones that I want on my team out of the younger tight ends, because he's going to be consistent. And again, you have a rookie and then you have a quarterback who hasn't been great. They're going to rely on him heavily, and you already know based on what last season he did statistically and what Ben was doing, because he was on a decline and he couldn't get the ball down the field. And so he relied on Pat Freiermuth more throughout the season, especially in the red zone. We know how the season ended for them, and we know who was seeing those targets. So don't sleep on Pat Freiermuth. However, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, because we have all of the great content for you if you play fantasy football, because we're here to help you get ready for the upcoming season. We have a lot of material which is going to help you prepare for your drafts to ensure that you are drafting the right players. And if you are a commissioner, we have a lot of great content which is going to help you improve your league, or if you're going to start a league, we have information on some of the best platforms that you should utilize to make sure that your league is going to run smoothly, and it has all of the different tools that you may want to use for your league. So hit that subscribe button because we got you over here at the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure you leave some comments and let me know your thoughts about top 10. And let me know your top 5 tight ends in fantasy football. Hit that like button and y'all have a great week. Peace.